We're going live right now to the Liberal Convention in Montreal, where the Prime Minister is speaking.
The
Liberal Party of Canada here in Quebec. And we have a great conference, many discussions on how to make our party go forth and continue to listen to citizens, our fellow citizens of Canada, and listen to the high expectations that Quebecers and all Canadians have towards this government. Hello, Mr. Trudeau. We've learned yesterday that the Baudouin family was not ready at all to let go of its multi-vote actions. Are you ready to invest in the C-Series program if we do not look again at the structure of Bombardier's governance? Listen, I won't be negotiating on the public sphere here, but the purchase by Delta is really good news for Bombardier, and we have an exceptional plane to offer to the world. And for me, the aerospace industry remains essential in the economic growth of Canada. Those are good jobs here in Quebec, of course, and also across the nation. So we continue to negotiate with Bombardier in order to have a solid business plan.
Obviously, the Delta purchase is great news from Bombardier. It's great news for the Canadian aerospace industry. I believe that this is an exceptional airplane that companies around the world are going to recognize and participate in. I know how important it is to have a strong aerospace industry in Canada, here in Quebec, but right across the country, with good jobs and solid economic growth coming from it. And that's why we're engaged in negotiations and discussions with Bombardier, and have been for quite a while, around the right business case for Canada to invest.
Vous dites le Québec est de retour à Ottawa, mais certains vous reprochent la gestion d'un dossier très important, même deux dossiers. Le dossier Bombardier C-Series et aussi le dossier
the C-Series file with Bombardier and the Avios. But what's Quebec's voice in Ottawa if it can't make itself being listened on to such files? First, the Prime Minister is an MP from Quebec, and preoccupations by Quebec workers remains at the center of every discussion we have. And we are a government that is listening to people. We are a government that is focusing on Quebecers and Canadians' priorities: economic growth, the future for our youth, and investments in the middle class, investments in infrastructures. And I spoke earlier today with, as an example, about the great electric train project from La Caisse de Dépôt. Is the type of project that we are looking forward to invest in. And Quebec is back within the government of Canada with voices that are really strong, and it will continue. You've broke with the tradition of Quebec lieutenant within the government. Wouldn't it be useful in such files like Bombardier that divides, or so that you can stay above the fray as Prime Minister and have a voice that is coming out of Quebec to, of course, make sure that Quebec's interests are. We have extremely strong voices within the cabinet right now, and maybe you've noticed, but there's no minister that has the portfolio of a region of the country or a province, and so we have the whole voices across the cabinet speaking for the different regions. So what's the point of having a lieutenant when you have a general from Quebec? The federal government comes with a $7.5 million of surplus. There's 1 month left. Do you still believe that the Conservatives will leave a deficit? We expect that even before that we include the expenses that our government has made to lower the income taxes of the middle class, for instance, that we have a deficit of around $1 billion at the end of the fiscal year 2015-2016. The reality being that there's many accounts coming at the end of the fiscal year, and we continue to acknowledge that the economy is not going as well because of 10 years of a government that was given income taxes breaks to the richer portion of the population. That's why we have invested so much in infrastructures. We will build with innovation and create better jobs and help the middle class and all those joining the middle class. But in part, those are investments that you've made. So this deficit is included in your mandate. Well, listen, even when we don't include the investments that we've made before we joined the government or made the government, I believe that the fiscal year 2015-16 up to November 4th will show a deficit of about $1 billion. So with our investments, it would have been a bit bigger than that.
The fact is, we are facing a situation in which Canada, for 10 years, had lower growth than it needed to because we had a government that chose to give tax breaks to the wealthiest and was underinvesting in our communities and infrastructure that is necessary. Looking at the numbers, the fact is that we still expect that the 2015-2016 fiscal year will result in about a $1 billion deficit before you add in the extra spending, for example, on lowering taxes for the middle class, as we did for January 1st, that we've put forward. The fact is, this government, the previous government, has focused on investments that would allow it to look good and talk about balance for their campaign purposes, but that left Canadians without the kind of growth and investments that we know Canadians need and deserve, and that's why our government is focused on investing, on lowering taxes for the middle class, on giving a more generous Canada Child benefit to 9 out of 10 Canadian families as of July 1st.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Vous avez parlé dans votre discours du réseau de trains électriques comme quoi vous
the
aviez hâte
electric
de
train
vous
network that you were looking forward to go into this. So can we take this as a commitment to finance, to fund this project? You've said very clearly in our electoral campaign and since that investments in infrastructure that will help people to go in a more efficient and quicker way to their workplace and go back home. Investments into green solutions like electrification of collective transportation in general. Those are all things in which we are really interested into investing ourselves, and we're looking forward to work with La Caisse de dépôt to look at how the federal government can be a good partner in this great project. This is a really positive project for Montrealers. How can you be a partner in this project? Well, I think it's clear that being part of the necessary funding to create this project is something that the Caisse is expecting from the government, and we will look at their project and the details that they're putting up. And as I said, it's exactly in the priorities of our government to invest in collective transportation and in electrification, and helping citizens build quality networks, and those are all things that we love very much in this project.
In English, we got elected on a platform of investing in this country, specifically investing in infrastructure, in green infrastructure, and particularly public transit. Obviously, the Caisse has a great track record in terms of investments. The Canada Line in Vancouver is a great example of the kinds of projects they're capable of taking on and succeeding in, and I am looking forward to talking with the Caisse and looking at how Canada can be a strong financial partner to this project that is important for Montreal, obviously, but for the entire Quebec economy as well as the Canadian economy. These are exactly the kinds of projects that we're excited about, and we look forward to working with them on establishing it. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you very much.
The Prime Minister speaking at a Liberal Party convention in Montreal asked today about Bombardier, the Quebec-based company looking to Ottawa for a significant amount of money, but it's not clear if Ottawa will give it to them. The PM only confirming today that negotiations continue. Bombardier this week, by the way, announced that Delta Airlines is buying at least 75 of those C-Series jets. That deal estimated at about $7 billion.